Absolutely beautiful day in Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's warm, not a nearly no clouds in the sky whatsoever, about 80 degrees, and a great day for thoroughbred racing at Oaklawn Park. Welcome to America's Day at the Races. I'm Richard Migliori, joined by Megan Burgess, and we're right on top of the opener, Megan. We got a really hard-hitting, consistent favorite here in Filly Crystal. But there's other contenders in here as well.
There really are. This race came up incredibly tough for this level with horses that are dropping in class, but there's multiple horses in here that have won open level, first level allowance races, including your favorite Filly Crystal, but also the likes of the 7 Are Pretty Kitty. But Filly Crystal, Meg, has just been on a tear since being claimed for $25,000. 2 wins and a second from her last 3 efforts.
Yeah, and this was her start 2 back where she, got it done consistent. She makes a long, sustained run this day. I thought she followed it up with just as good, if not a better effort when she was defeated by Esternia.
Esternia is a stakes quality filly who she was admirable in defeat that day. So her form has been just off of the charts. As I mentioned, she's just had a huge wake-up call here since coming out of the Wayne Potts barn. I've been familiar with this filly through her career in New York, and she has just run off the board compared to what she's been running previously here, and she's just really taken to Oaklawn Park. But Meg, I went with the outside runner, the 7 Are Pretty Kitty, who exits a 4-length victory in open allowance, first level allowance race with her career best. She's going to be tough, and I think she's going to be well placed from the outside forward with that speed.
I agree with you. I think the outside post really helps her cause because there is one real speed horse to me, and that's down on the inside, the 1 Gloriette. That's where I landed. I thought maybe Gloriette gets loose. You get Amir Mendoza, a 5-pound apprentice, so you're getting a 5-pound break in the weights. And I always felt like speed horses were good for apprentices. Don't have to make a lot of decisions, kind of get out of their way. And she's getting 8 pounds from Filly Crystal and 8 pounds from Our Pretty Kitty. So I'm just going there with the advantage in the weights. And we should tell everybody, Tyler Bacon off all his mounts today. David Cabrera does ride the 6 Titled Lady.
Hoping for Tyler to be on the mend soon, but this is a really competitive race. A good way to start the day, Meg.
Well, they're all loading up. We'll send it up for the first time today. Matt Dinnerman with the call.
Afternoon here in Hot Springs. Good luck. We're ready to go. We're off and running at Oaklawn Park. Key to success last out of the gate. Gloriette striding in front. Filly Crystal has speed. Missy Muppet taking second from Filly Crystal. Our Pretty Kitty on the far outside, moving up. Titled Lady. 5 runners within a length and a half of one another. Gloriette has a narrow lead here, and key to success at the back of the field, the long shot. Only 4 behind as they sort themselves out. Hitting the half-mile pole. Gloriette, speedy, opens up 2 now. Misty Muppet in chase mode second. Key to success has made a blitz from last all the way level 4th. That is steady as I say that. Our Pretty Kitty claiming 3rd around the far turn run. Key to success has retreated to the back with Titled Lady, and Filly Crystal, who got shuffled to the rear, is now trying to come on again. Filly Crystal on the 3 path, passing 2 runners into 4th. Filly Crystal hitting the quarter pole. Gloriette on the lead. Misty Muppet hard sent. Our Pretty Kitty 3 wide. Filly Crystal on the extreme outside, launching a rally. They come down the lane. Filly Crystal, confidently handled on the grandstand side, is up to challenge Gloriette. Our Pretty Kitty in the middle. Filly Crystal, narrow lead approaching the 16th pole. Gloriette not done. Between horses is Our Pretty Kitty. Filly Crystal. Our Pretty Kitty's coming at her. Filly Crystal. Our Pretty Kitty. Filly Crystal got it. Filly Crystal narrowly over Our Pretty Kitty, Gloriette, and Misty Muppet, who is 4th.
What a way to start the day here at Oaklawn Park. A really great stretch battle here. It looked like Filly Crystal might have prevailed over your selection, Megan. Our Pretty Kitty, and Gloriette gave it a run, just wasn't quite good enough. She got everything her own way, but this is the beauty of Oaklawn Park. 8th pole, any 1 or 3 or 4 can win, and it seems like that consistently.
That was a dogfight late. All 3 of these horses up front ran well, with Filly Crystal getting the best. But as I mentioned, for a starter optional claiming group, this was incredibly tough. Filly Crystal and Our Pretty Kitty, like I mentioned, are allowance-type horses, and you'll likely see them doing so off of this effort. But yet another victory. That's 3 wins from her last 4 tries for Filly Crystal, your favorite in this opener.
She's in raging form, and that's a great way to start the day. Get the heart pumping a little bit with a photo finish in the opener as we're going to head to New York and say hi to the guys on the desk. Greg, Andy?
Yeah, thanks you too, Greg Wolf. Andy Serling with you as we get set for race 2. We're 4 minutes to post. We had a very heavy favorite kick off this card for Chad Brown-Klarovich Stables Growth Equity.
Yeah, Growth Equity will look good, breaking his maiden in his 3rd career start. He had run well to be second at Gulfstream. Got it done in the first today, and at 1-9, I think, right?
Race 2
I think we both picked
little
him.
more wide open. Compact field, though. Again, let's take a look at what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. We're fast here in New York, as you saw fast at Hot Springs. And split coverage today. We're on until 3:30, and then back on 5:30 to 6:30. So we hope to see you for both parts of our coverage.
It's very strange, the betting right now, because the one who's a heavy favorite is the 3rd choice in doubles behind the 2 and 6.
9-2 on Good Skate is ridiculous.
I think
right
somebody
now.
bet like 8,000 to win on Military Road.
You can play it all right there at NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Match 200. That code to use at sign up for new members. Get that $200 new customer deposit match sign up bonus. Race 2 mile and an eighth. $20,000 condition claiming race. And the best horse in the race, it's probably Good Skate, taking a huge drop in class. We haven't seen him since June of last year. He's won off a similar type of layoff. Can he do it again today? We'll see if this price comes down. You would think it would. As we head downstairs, check in for the first time today. There she is, Maggie Wolfendale.
Yeah, Greg, it feels like if Good Skate, just a muscle memory alone, remembers who he is, then he should win here, because the other 3 foes that he faces today, they only have 2 wins to their name. He has 6. He has run consistently the faster races of anybody here, but there's a layoff. As you mentioned, yes, he has run well and won off of layoffs in the past. But, well, I am a big Kerry Bryan fan. This horse just doesn't quite look the same physically, in that he looks good from the leanness, fitness perspective. There's no extra weight on him. He just doesn't look nearly as strong as he has in the past. So it feels like he needs a race to kind of strengthen up here overall. But like I said, he is not facing any killers here, and even if he runs a mediocre race of his, he could still very well win here, and he's very adept at these types of distances. Weirdly hasn't won at 1 mile and an eighth, but definitely can handle it. As we'll move on to, honestly, the horse that just looked best, and maybe he was a bit overmatched here as he is the longest price in this short field, but that is Indy Rags. Mind you, I've been chasing him a little bit as he finished second last time out to the heavily favored big drop down in Sheriff Bianco. And last time he was a little bit slower into stride, going the 1-turn mile over the muddy sealed racetrack. He was on the inside, and he kind of had horses back up in his face. So he had to wait for some room and then go outside of them, and was able to pick up some pieces and secure second. He just looks fantastic. And if you go 3 races back, that race in the 17.5 non-2 life would make him very playable here. I do like him getting back out to 1 mile and an eighth, Greg, and he's just had my head turning back to him at each step of these preliminaries, from the paddock to the racetrack.
See what happens. He's the biggest price on the board. You and I, we're not quite as high. And look, Maggie didn't even pick Good Skate. We're not quite as high on his chances.
No, I mean, I picked him, but I don't love him in this race. And I think you have to really be concerned about the big drop to 20,000 off the long layoff, going from Mike Mager to Kerry Bryan. No knock on Kerry, but Mike wins a lot of races. There are a lot of questions about this horse, who left in kind of bad form. He has the controlling speed, though. And, I had originally wanted to bet the 3 Landauer, who scratched. The money on the 1 is kind of surprising. Military Road's a funny horse, because if he runs his race 2 back, he's going to win here in all likelihood. And he's not that slow, so he's going to be forward here. He's not going to be hurt by the 2. He was awful last time, but he was also way against the track with a wide trip against the gold rail. So I can see why they're betting him, but I don't love that Linda claimed him for 30,000. Is running back for 20.
It was a bizarre race, though, too. Is the only time he's so consistently shows up. Doesn't win a lot.
That's the problem.
But shows up. He didn't show up last start.
No, I agree. But he is a horse that's burned a lot of money, especially early in his career when he was a maiden. He was the beginning of that big double that Jonathan played on closing day at Saratoga when he lost it 1-5.
This one here, Come to Papa. He's put together back-to-back wins. Rob Atrisbarn won with the first off the claim. Can he do it again? Chris Griffin, race 2 Aqueduct.
And they're off. Speed to the inside from Military Road. right to the front and does it easily. Military Road and Jose Lescano on an easy lead get over to the rail and up by a length and a half. Right to the outside, here comes Indy Rags. Wants to move in closer. Same can be said for Come to Papa, is 3 wide around that turn. Good Skate will take back, is tucked right in behind this leading trio. They're chasing Military Road, and Military Road is up by a half length. Mild pressure from Indy Rags to the outside is a clear second. Tight hold Come to Papa, Kendrick Carmouche in third. Good Skate and Jamie Rodriguez going to skim the rail as they work to the backstretch, and Military Road still the target, 25.25 for that opening quarter mile. Military Road with a nose advantage. Here comes Indy Rags and Manny Franco. They push forward, and these two almost head and head as they're approaching that 4 furlongs left to go. Come to Papa is right in behind them, still tugging. Looks like he wants to go is Come to Papa for Kendrick Carmouche, and 49.64. That half-mile time, less than a half mile to go now. Good Skate is encouraged to keep up, is still the trailer. Now confronting Military Road, it's Indy Rags to the outside, 2 wide. Indy Rags puts a nose in front. Come to Papa is now looming up 3 wide. And here comes Come to Papa on the move. Come to Papa to the outside of Indy Rags, who's all in between horses, well off the rail, and drifting out there was Come to Papa, but Come to Papa has now taken the lead. Come to Papa trying to sprint away from a stubborn Indy Rags who just won't go away. Indy Rags down towards the inside. Come to Papa did not push on by. Indy Rags is fighting on to the inside. These two inside the final 16th. Nose and nose down to the line. It's Indy Rags, Come to Papa. Indy Rags, Come to Papa. Indy Rags came back to win it. Indy Rags over Come to Papa. Then came Military Road at 1 minute 53.65 seconds.
Back and forth they went. Indy Rags, Come to Papa down the stretch. And Indy Rags, Cantermachi Barn, Manny Franco take race 2.
Yeah, it's once again another race where it looked like Manny Franco was on a horse that was beaten. And he's just so strong down the stretch, Manny. And Come to Papa looked home free. But he kind of hung to this horse, but Indy Rags dug in. No excuse for Military Road. He was terrible, and Good Skate was virtually easy. Can't run at all anymore. Couldn't get out of the gate and just didn't do any running.
So Manny Franco for the Cantermachi Barn, the 4-year-old son of Union Rags. Let's go back to the start. Last out of the gate.
I don't believe the two got left in there. I just don't think the two can run anymore. I don't think it mattered. The two can't run anymore. It wouldn't matter what he did out of the gate.
Yeah.
Could have come out of that gate
Had no
with
impact
5
on
lengths
his
lead.
finish.
He wouldn't have won this race.
I mean, wants to be forward. But
He
still,
does, but he was
5-6-1-2,
Jeez.
4-1. Biggest price on the board of the 4-horse field here in race 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying in the backstretch, I preferred the 1 and 2 as the two logical horses, but I don't know why this horse was twice the price of the 6. I was surprised, but it seemed fairly open.
Good call, Maggie. She liked this one. Indy Rags to start the early pick 4. Well, the price is for you when we come back. We're going to take a timeout right around the corner after this break. The draw for the final prep to the Kentucky Oaks out in Hot Springs. Explora for Bob Baffert. Got the better of Search Party for Marcassi. They'll go head-to-head again in the fantasy. We have the draw when we come back.
Rachel Alexandra, one of the greatest fillies ever to race at Oaklawn, is Rachel Alexandra, one of the greatest fillies ever to race at Oaklawn, is giving us a spectacular performance in the fantasy. Rachel Alexandra, a great filly, winning the fantasy by 8 lengths.
Swiss Skydiver, Venetian Harbor, and Swiss Skydiver is going to run away and win the fantasy.
Torpedo Anna is back in business off the layoff, and she is a dominant winner of the fantasy. Kentucky Oaks, you bet. Quiet side digging in. She's got a half-length lead, and she has the fantasy victory.
Welcome to the draw, the 54th running of the Fantasy Stakes, the final prep on the route to the Kentucky Oaks here. And something that stood out to me there, Nancy Holthus, Richard Migliori, that stood out to me. 2 Preakness winners have won the Honeybee.
Yeah, we have produced some of the top 3-year-old fillies in the country, and I wouldn't be surprised if that trend continues this year.
And I should say fantasy. I'm stuck in the past here, but just such a historic race. It has so much meaning going forward. To who will be your favorite come Kentucky Oaks Day, and there's 100 Kentucky Oaks points on the line for the winner, 50 for second, 25 for third, all the way down to 10 points for fifth. So important for these fillies to get their points to qualify for the Kentucky Oaks, but also the Fantasy Stakes is $1 million purse in its own right, a very, very important and prestigious race.
Yeah, we are definitely looking forward to the field, and some of these runners don't need the points, but it's going to be a good practice going into that first Friday in May.
Well, we've got some help from the racing office now to get this draw started. We've got a field of 6 signed on, including a supplemental entry from the Marcassi barn in Enpath. But we've got Rylan Medcoff. She's going to be pulling the names out of the hat there, and Laurie Whittick will be pulling the pills from the bottle. And let's get right into it. Let's start right away, guys. Who's first up?
6. 6, Explorer.
Explorer, the winner of the Honeybee, will be number 6.
1. Search Party.
Search Party coming off of a Martha Washington win, and then an even effort in the Honeybee will be post 1.
2. Empath.
Enpath, the supplemental nominee from the Marcassi barn, has a maiden win to her credit.
5. Sticker Shock.
Sticker Shock from the Brad Cox barn will be number 5, coming off a nice allowance win here at Oaklawn, and from what I understand, a very good workout this morning.
4. Taken by the Wind.
Taken by the Wind for Kenny McPeak. Had won the Silver Bullet Day at Fairgrounds before. Disappointing effort in the Honeybee.
3 is Counting Stars.
Counting Stars, also from the Marcassi barn. Really good effort in the Honeybee to be second to Explorer. And that is your field of 6. Mark Cassie, Nancy, has 3 of the 6 entrants in this fantasy.
He does that late supplement with Empath, who actually will be wearing the silks of his wife Tina's stable. Yeah, an Empath supplemented, as I mentioned, to the field after a recent maiden allowance win and a big step up, contesting 2 turns for the first time in the stakes debut. And I did speak to Mark Cassie prior to the show, and he says he sees this runner on the lead or close to it and is basically in the field to make sure that the pace is honest.
Well, she is quick, and she's coming out of a sprint, so she should be up on the pace. There we see your field in the starting gate from the inside out. And we've had a really good round of preps here, starting with the Honeybee back on March 1st. And this was Explorer getting it done, holding off Counting Stars.
Yeah, she was super impressive, just sitting right off the leader's heels. And it's interesting, Bafford's actually looking for his 3rd fantasy win, first since 2012 with the Daughter of Blame, who did make her Oaklawn debut a winning one, very impressive fashion in the Grade 3 Honeybee. That actually put her career earnings over the $1 million mark.
Wow, young filly to be already over $1 million, and she's racing in $1 million race here. I'm sure the presence of Empath probably aids Counting Stars because Explorer's a filly that wants to lay up close.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting pace scenario going that mile and a 16th with just that field of 6. And it's going to be interesting coming out of the gate and who gets into that good position going into that first turn as well.
Position always critical no matter the distance of any race. But going back to the Martha Washington, we saw a Mark Cassie runner get the job done there in Search Party. And she's another one that'll be aided if the pace is a little quicker.
Yeah, Search Party really impressive. Got up in time to win the Martha Washington and was 4th in the Grade 3 Honeybee. And Mark told me if the pace is good, definitely look for her to come running.
Yeah, Mark is just having a tremendous meeting here at Oaklawn, winning at a high percentage, a lot of stakes races, and there's a lot of meat left. And we're just beginning the Racing Festival of the South.
Yeah, and he's won 9 stakes at the current meeting to be exact. So a lot of floral wreaths at his barn.
No doubt. And then Explorer going back, I mean, she did win the Honeybee, but she also had a good run in the Las Virgens out at Santa Anita, and a filly that was runner-up in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile as well.
Yeah, I like the fact that Flavian Pratt does make the journey again. She is the leading points contender with 95, and not surprised to see that even money morning line on this filly.
Well, especially Bob Baffert shipping in here to Oaklawn Park has had great success over the years, and obviously campaigning a Triple Crown winner, an American Pharaoh, through the Arkansas Derby.
Yeah, we ended that 37-year drought with that amazing 3-year-old making those first steps here, and obviously we memorialized him with a trophy or with a statue out front.
I love that. I love the way they embrace the history of racing here at Oaklawn Park, and we got a field of 6, a smaller field, but a quality-laden field.
Yeah, certainly quality. I wouldn't be surprised to see these runners do make that next step in that first Friday in May in the Kentucky Oaks. A lot of points on the line. Some of these fillies need the points, but with the abbreviated field, they do look to get them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, 5 of the 6 will get points for the Kentucky Oaks. Obviously, you want the lion's share of those purses, but let's take a look at the entire field from top to bottom.
Thanks, you two. There is the field and the morning line. Explorer is going to be, I would think, a very short price for Baffert.
I'm guessing she will be, and I'm guessing she should be. Counting Stars did run a solid second to her last time, so it's kind of a rematch of those 2 horses.
Yeah. All right, we look forward to that. Final major prep on the road to the Kentucky Oaks, May 1st this year. First Friday in May for 3-year-old fillies. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. We're about 22 minutes away. Race 3 starts a small pick 6 carryover here in New York, but Derby Road rolling through the Big Easy this weekend and out at Turfway. Take a look at both when we come back. Stay with us.
$6,600,000. $1,600,000 bid today. $1,600,000 bid now. Bid now. $650. $1,650. $1,650,000. Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1,650,000. $1,600,000. Thank you.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Here comes that big gray Tappet Trice right down the outside.
Tappet Trice wins the Toyota Bluegrass. Tappet Trice's 2024 debut was awesome.
Tappet Trice is lunging. Tappet Trice wins the Woodward.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
650-75.
Buy them.
Respect them.
70-75. That's 700.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
They're very reputable.
Back with you on our Friday coverage. This is right around the corner. Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, final chance to see the third and final leg of the Triple Crown at historic Saratoga. Go to belmontstakes.com/tickets. And the first 2 years, just an experience that you do not want to miss.
No, it is a really particularly fun week of racing, and it's like a little Saratoga preview, and it'll be the last time it'll be up there. So come join us. Hope you can.
Be part of the action. Hope to see you there as we get all our housing squared away for 51 days of Saratoga this summer. Looking forward to it. We got a pick six carryover, small one coming up, just over $12,000 next in race 3. Let's wrap up the second. Indy Rags, Ilke Cantermachi, Manny Franco, and a 4-year-old son of Union Rags wins for the third time.
It feels like, and maybe just remembering it that way, but it feels like an inordinate amount of the races where a horse looks beaten and comes back on to win, Manny Franco seems to be riding that horse. He's just such a strong rider down the stretch, and it really did feel as though the actual favorite, Come to Papa, had a measured coming into the stretch, but Indy Rags just came back and got the victory fair and square.
Manny just refusing to lose. 3 rallies on the inside for the victory here.
I think Kendrick really thought and I can understand why, kind of had the race won, and probably a little surprised that others came back on him.
$10.98 for the win. Come to Papa, Military Road. Both go off at 9 to 5. Wind up second and third as we get into race 3. And again, it starts a $12,000 pick six carryover, $25,000 claiming race. All for sale for that price. Horses only have a maiden win on the resume. 6 furlong sprint, and Cravings dropping from 40,000 winners of 2, the favorite. There's another runner coming out of that same race, though. I know who you like.
Yeah, I found this to be a very, very difficult race, and I'm not in love with Cravings, and here can obviously win, but I thought she took advantage, and even though the speed had been good that day, that was a very fast pace that totally collapsed. So in those situations, I'll often go back to the horse that was involved in the pace, and that's the 2, Clara Vidente. So I picked her on top. I don't love her chances, but I think at a better price, I'd rather bet her than Cravings.
Yeah, Cravings did get to a tremendous setup in that race as well. Just missed by a nose. Drops in class, as does Clara Vidente. We'll have more on this field post-parade when we come back from a short timeout. 17 minutes away, race 3 here in New York. And race 2 in Hot Springs. 6 furlong sprint. Arkansas bred 40 maiden claiming race. Christian Torres will ride that one. Rebel Ridge when we come back.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime, even as you're making your way through the hotel, down through the casino, and off to the racetrack. You don't ever have to leave the grounds once you check in, Megan, and you've got great restaurants, a lot of entertainment, and obviously great thoroughbred racing.
Is that you taking your trip to work?
I think that must be Maggie, because Maggie's
turbo,
no nonsense.
Turbo
She just
power, right?
Forward. She
I
goes.
actually, last week when that big storm rolled in, I sat down, I had a little snack. It was lovely. I didn't feel like any tornado warnings were around me because I felt safe here.
You were ensconced in
I
the
was.
hotel and the casino there. Well, we've got the horses on the racetrack and a post parade for race 2. Here is the one, Rebel Ridge.
Ernie Witt likes to keep his horses happy and in the feed tub, and I think this horse benefited from that first effort now at second asking, but does have to contend with the inside draw.
Yeah, has to work out a trip from there, but you get Christian Torres, the 2, Makeshift's Legacy for Steve Asmussen.
You'll see this horse dancing around there on track. Should be forwardly placed in this field once again.
Do you think he plays out to be the speed? First time start of the 3. Hello, Bourbon.
Total record for those high norths are a 0-4-11, all first time starters with a little bit more room to be desired there as a long shot.
The 4, Arco Thunder at a big price.
Drops down in class for the tag, lowest tag yet.
And the 5, first time starter, not taking any money, but a half to Dark Storm we were familiar with up in New York, 6th place runner.
Past 5 years, Tim Martin, 4% with those first time starters, 3 for 80.
Number 6, Huckabee for Ron Moquette.
Honestly, ran well too back, makes him competitive here.
Now, Huckabee's outside of the jockey, Huckabee. Here is the 7.
Unraced half sib, that remained a maiden, dropping down in class. Did a little bit of running on debut, but still needs to get faster.
The 8 is a horse taking money for Jinx Fires.
We'll have to elaborate on that soon. I like that horse, but the 9 here, Gray Taps also, the first effort, could be a little competitive here. We shall see.
And the 10 right now, as your favorite, Igniting Embers, comes off a big effort.
Yeah, near misses in both of his last 2 tries. We'll see if he can negotiate potentially more of a patient trip from that outside draw.
Well, Igniting Fires, we'll take a look at that last effort. Maiden 40 for the first time, dropping from Maiden 50, which was also a good effort for her, but good speed here under Kelsey Hart.
He has showed good speed, which is key, especially from that outside draw, which is the furthest that this horse has been drawn in these last 6 tries. And we kind of talked about this off camera. With these lower level horses, I often wonder if they can put 2 really strong back-to-back performances together, particularly when they're 5-2. And this horse is coming off of perhaps the wedding of getting this horse underneath at 7-1 near missing last time out. So I just wonder, this horse on paper is obviously logical, a field best Spire speed figure against likely just horses that he's likely better than. I just still have my question marks here.
Yeah, there are questions. Lower level horses, not always the most consistent. The 8 horse House Trick, taking money, first time starter, Jinx Fires, a man that's won races for as long as I can remember.
I wanted to take a shot here with a first time starter who it seems as if the story's out a little bit on this horse coming down from that 15-1 warning line. And this horse has been working well, particularly for a lower level horse that you have to obviously swallow the fact that the Fires barn is 0 for 14 the past 5 years with first-time starters. But horse yesterday we saw run well in the finale there, first-time starter for Jinx Fires, who is retiring this year. And if you look at that gate work back on February the 21st, I believe this horse will show some speed. Was a touchscreen, broke fine out of the gate, flattened a little bit late. So the only hesitancy I have is, will this horse be around late? I thought about taking a chance in this group, particularly as I am a bit against the favorite here, 2-1.
And we've seen first-time starters do well in these lower-level races. Maybe they're just a little less exposed. I went to the 2 horse here, Megan, the Makeshift's Legacy from the Steve Asmussen barn, ridden by his son Keith. 2 winners for Keith yesterday. It just seems like the barn is hitting on all cylinders, and this horse has speed. And much like when I was riding, I like speed.
I think it's pretty crazy to me that this horse is 6-1. I thought this horse would take much more money than it has. Dropping down in class for strong connections. This horse, if you go through his form lines, especially that second place effort all the way back in his second start, that wins this type of race. And I think this horse, as you mentioned, is going to be on the lead. I like the 2 and the 8 in this group, Meg.
Okay, well, we're about a little bit over a minute away to the race 2 here at Oaklawn. Let's head back to New York, where they're sitting on top of, I believe, race 3.
Yeah, well, the post parade here coming up shortly, Mig. 6 furlong sprint. This non-winners at 2 life condition as we look at Power of Women, the 5 here. Ricardo Santana Jr. will ride for the Dutrow Junior Barn, coming off a maiden claiming win. Let's go down to Maggie.
And guys, I think Cravings does look like the horse to beat here in the paddock. We'll check in with the one you were just mentioning, number 5, Power of Women, as she is one that I thought maybe on paper could be a little bit of fool's gold in that, you know, she comes in with the fastest buyer, but that was for maiden 25, and she got to ride the gold rail for that performance, but it was first off the claim for Rick Dutrow. And the fact of the matter here is, in the paddock, she looks best of all. She does have some early speed, which you would have to think the horse I'm going to talk about next will be going forward too, but she could set up shop right outside of her, and physically by far looks the best. She's a bigger, stronger type of animal compared to the rest of her competition today, and she just looks very fit and strong. Now number 2, Clara Vidente, who does have that early speed, and she is drawn more towards the inside, as Andy said, comes out of a race where the pace collapsed, and then last time when breaking her maiden, albeit in a 20 going 5.5 on a muddy sealed racetrack, don't love that aspect of it, because she is a bit of a smaller type where probably 5.5 is best, and maybe a wet track could ultimately prove best for her, but she's run fine on dry tracks too. She's one that, when I've seen her in previous efforts, can get really hot, washy, nervous. That's not the case today at all. She looks very good for her, and if you can come up with some excuses, I do think she's a major player, Greg.
You love to hear that.
I'm never unhappy if Maggie has good things to say about horses I like. I don't love this horse. I just think I'd rather bet her than some others in here. I'm trying to figure out how she's the exact same price as the 4 Boloro, who doesn't have any races that are particularly fast. At least Clara Vidente has some decent races.
Yeah, Boloro used to be quick, but she can't seem to get out of the gate since she's returned as a 3-year-old.
True.
Let's go back to Hot Springs.
Now the horses are lining up as they're heading towards the starting gate here for race 2, and seems like the public has settled in on the 10-horse Igniting Embers off of that big effort last time.
Very logical in this group. We both opted to go against the favorite in this spot, but I will say this, just looking at the number 8, I haven't obviously been able to be in the paddock, but not as strong behind. I do like this horse first time out, just looking through the works, but just a little note is this horse is taking quite a bit of money.
I know, I'm going to go down towards the inside with the 2, Makeshift's Legacy. I like speed, and hopefully Keith Esperson allows this horse to strut his stuff early. Let's send it up to Matt Dinneman with the call of race 2 from Oaklawn Park.
Arco Thunder walking up to the gate. Great tabs. Banded Writ, the gray, second to last. And Igniting Embers to the outside post. Here's Igniting Embers going in. We're ready to go. And we're off. Awkward break from the firster, House Trick, who drops to the back of the field. Igniting Embers sent for speed. Makeshift's Legacy a little bit quicker, has the lead now from Igniting Embers, who runs in the second spot. On the inside, Rebel Ridge, the second-time starter, in a good position. Huckabee between horses now. Length to Great Taps. Arco Thunder down on the rail is 4 lengths off the lead, approaching the half-mile pole. He's a length and a half in front of City Rider. Then comes House Trick, Banded Writ, they're together. Hello Bourbon, the trailer, as they go into the far turn. Igniting Embers makes a blitz to challenge Makeshift's Legacy. Igniting Embers, nose in front. Makeshift's Legacy right there to the inside. Length and a half to Huckabee. He's in the third position. Great Taps alongside of him now. Then comes Arco Thunder. Rebel Ridge has retreated to midfield. He's 6 lengths behind, trying to get outside for a re-rally as they come off the turn. Igniting Embers is the leader, putting away Makeshift's Legacy. Great Taps second. Rebel Ridge coming on once again on the extreme outside. Here he comes. Rebel Ridge coming after Great Taps, who's got the lead. Far outside is Arco Thunder at a big price here, 21-1. Arco Thunder grandstand side. Great Taps battling on down on the inside. Great Taps still in front from Arco Thunder. Great Taps on the cutback from a route to a sprint wins it. Arco Thunder's second. Rebel Ridge was third. Then Huckabee and Igniting Embers.
Great Taps gets it done. Real nice effort here under Rafael Bejarano, who has been riding in very good form, quietly putting together a nice meeting. And I think this was that Goldilocks effect, Bagan, right? sprinted once, 2 route races, back in for the tag, sprinting against Arkansas bred. It was just right.
It was perfect, and it's kind of funny because I'm a sucker for a turn back. But this horse honestly has kind of been in chase mode from the outside in a couple of these races. As you kind of see, also has a little bit of a funkier action as there is some turf underneath in the dam side pedigree. But as you mentioned, Randy Morris has just put together a great meet, putting horses at the right place with this Archie bred getting back amongst his friends sprinting.
And a nice effort by the runner-up, Arco Thunder, at a big price as the horses are on the racetrack up in New York.
Mig, thank you. Quinn's Silent Roar just went by in the post-parade.
Coming off a maiden win against Weaker, finished well behind the 5 2-back.
Speed with Clara Vidente.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be in front of Power of Women or not. I hope she is. I bet her.
Even money favorite. Here's Cravings.
Yeah, she can win, obviously, but I thought she got a very good trip last time.
Issues getting out of the gate last couple of starts for Boloro.
Good points by you on that.
Kendra Carmouche, he was on board last time. That didn't help either. Power of Women, 7-2.
Yeah, I think she'll probably drop. I mean, it's hard to believe Clara Videnti's going to be 5-2. I thought she was certainly a horse who could win this race. She ran okay last time for Rick off the claim.
3 minutes to post. Here in race 3 starts this small pick 6 carryover, $12,189. Get a $10 bonus today by playing with NYRA bets. Bet $50 each on Aqueduct and Oaklawn. Opt in, and you'll get that bonus in your account.
There isn't really a big lean in this pick 6, is there? Looking through, I think the races are a little more wide open today than they have been in some days past.
I mean, I guess Cravings is for some, right, here?
I suppose. I can't imagine doing it. Maybe and some would lean on
maybe AP Slingshot, who we both don't like.
Yeah, no, I mean, we both think he can win, but we pick somebody else. Inefficiency, I imagine, will take a lot of money, but I can't imagine she's an overwhelming favorite over Philly Freedom or Metafarta.
So here's Cravings, even money. And last time out, speed was good on this day. But you had 3 who battled up front in here, and Cravings was sitting right behind them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the horse who finishes 3rd in here, Purple Divine, is taking over now, was clearly way the best horse in the race. And maybe if she hadn't dropped over the inside, she still might have won. But I thought that Cravings took advantage of that race coming apart. And while she can win in here, I mean, it's not as though the horse that beat her in the photo had such great form coming into the race. I just don't think she's supposed to be an overwhelming favorite in this race. I don't like horses that are a little bit dressed up off getting good trips. Having said that, she's certainly one of the horses who can win here. I mean, it's hard to see the winner not coming from the 2, 3, and 5, at least for me. But whether or not she should be 4 to 5, that's really up to the player. To me, she's an underlay.
One of the best barns in the country. It's Brad Cox. Obviously, Manny Franco, one of the strongest riders in the colony. That's not helping your price either. And the drop, too. Power of Women, the 5. We'll get to in a minute. Let's take a look at Clara Vidente. The way to win for her, obviously, control up front.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if she's outrunning Power of Women. I'll tell you something weird about Power of Women. She's dead on the board. Is it me or Power of Women just, I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, my 2 is, Clara Vidente's kind of the price that she is. She could have been higher. I think we would have to assume that the 4 would be a much shorter price than the 2. You've got Dutrow and Santana. It just seemed like, I'm trying to look at where the morning line was in this race and where the multis are. The 2 was 6-1. Keep in mind the 6 scratched. And the 5 was 4-1. So, yeah, the 5 is supposed to be the second choice in this race. And I think even in doubles and pick 3s, the 5 is the second choice. Though not hugely shorter than the 2, but is shorter than the 2. It's a little chilly.
Let's go back to February 12th. And what do you draw from this effort?
I mean, I thought she ran fine. She had a good trip. She was a pretty short price. I thought she ran fine. I don't have a... I think this is a very tough race to have a strong opinion in which case I'm never going to pick a horse that's 4 to 5. I'm always going to pick against a heavy favorite. I think it's a tough race.
We don't talk about it much. No one really does these days anymore. It's a 6 furlong sprint, but for what it's worth, look, the 2 is getting 7 pounds where the rider, all they have to do is go to the front.
And I think Delilah Rivera has actually ridden well here this winter, the opportunity she's gotten. She's, she may not, obviously not at the likes of the top riders here, but I'll put it this way, I have no problem betting horses she's riding.
So weight break with the Apprentice. The one to catch up front, 3 to 5 is. This is.
Yeah, I don't know how you make a horse
ridiculous.
3 to 5 in this race. I'm not saying she's not going to win. I just don't know how. I mean, she's 4 to 5 now. To me, she does not look like an overwhelmingly likely winner. She's one of the ones that can win, I think, along with the 2 and 5.
See how it plays out. Pick 6 carryover starts here. Chris Griffin to get us started.
And they're off. Cravings ask for speed right out of the gate, and here comes Clarividente. Clarividente with the nose advantage, and they are tightly packed here on the front end. Holding the rail position was Quinn's Silent Roar, and now Power of Women. 4 wide as they work up the back stretches, crossing over. Had to work to get there. Is plenty of heat down the front end. It's Power of Women up by a neck. Now in a tight spot there, Quinn's Silent Roar had to back out of it, 22.42. That opening quarter mile, Clarividente got shuffled back too. So an action-packed first quarter. Power of Women is up by a length, called a length and a half. All in Cravings is trying to catch this leader, and all the meanwhile, Belloro is cruising up on the outside 3 wide. Here comes Belloro, is ready to challenge Cravings in between horses and hugging the rail. Power of Women, Ricardo Santana Jr. now cut loose in the stretch. Cravings is making up ground now to the outside. Belloro did not go on. Clarividente too far back, and Quinn's Silent Roar. These two for a final furlong. It's Cravings to the outside. Power of Women won't go away. Power of Women with a nose advantage. These two nose and nose as they approach the line. It's gonna be a photo finish. Cravings to the outside, Power of Women to the inside in 1 minute 12.41 seconds. Start of the pick 6. It's a photo in race 3.
Looks like Cravings. It looked like Cravings was never going to go by the 5 Power of Women, but now back-to-back races where Manny Franco has just willed his mount to victory.
Yeah, you know, I watched this race and wasn't involved in this because my horse wasn't going to win, but did one of the worst rides you'll see all week. And I thought, I always have horses like the 5 in these. They've got the lead, they've held them off, and you get to the wire, and the heavy favorite, who was ridiculously overbet at 3 to 5. She gets up and wins, and if you bet her, you cashed, but man, she did not win like a 3 to 5 shot should.
Whew. Manny
Does
putting
seem
in
like she got there,
overtime work here on Cravings to get this victory. Which we, yes, and it's now unofficial. 3-5-2-4 just posted.
I'd be curious if Clarividente got claimed.
Did.
Yeah, I
The
think
2 and 3 got claimed.
2's going to be an interesting horse going forward, likely with a new rider. I mean, I want to be nice about Delila Rivera, but that was a terrible ride.
You have to be forward. There was
Well,
speed
she
of the field.
she didn't even want to go to the front when she could have been in front, and then she steadied out between horses, and then she got shuffled out of the ring. It was a disaster. Listen, apprentices are, you know, riders, learning riders in progress, and hopefully this is a learning experience for her.
Manny Franco. First 3 on the card. Can he sweep?
Probably not, but you never know.
Pretty good start to Friday action for Manny. Teaming up with Brad Cox here.
Oh, right, he didn't ride growth. He rode growth equity, too. I picked him the next race, so I'll bring him to a screeching halt.
Emerging Market. We'll see back in action this weekend. A big debut in early February for Chad Brown, Klarovich, Flavian Pratt. They're all together again this weekend at the fairgrounds.
The day is here when legends are made and anything is possible. The 2026 Arkansas Derby, where the prize is $1.5 million and a shot at glory at the Kentucky Derby.
Here's Sandman threatening to run a big one. And Sandman, he's run his A race and he gets a confidence booster heading to Kentucky.
Come witness history. Plan your stay today at Oaklawn Hot Springs and come join the fun.
Prince of Monaco's too good for Moose, an impressive winner of the best pal. Miramondi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco too good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Announcing the Empire Trillium Series, a multi-year $3.2 million 14-race program at the brand new Belmont Park and Woodbine Racetrack, restricted to New York or Canadian foaled horses. This new event kicks off the day after Christmas with 4 two-year-old stakes races on Belmont's new Tapeta surface and continues all spring and summer through late July at Woodbine. The Empire Trillium Series. To learn more and enroll either New York or Canadian breds, go to NYRA.com/EMPTRI.
Back with you on our Friday coverage. You're watching America's Day of the Races on Fox Sports, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Take a look at what's new at ABR. Big A's best 5 unforgettable performances at Aqueduct. Take a look at the 2026 Derby Trail. 3 heating up, 3 cooling down, and 17 words that mean something different to Kentucky Derby fans. I want to know what that is.
Well, you should go to abr.net.
I'll be QRing that code. What a hot start for Manny Franco. And I mean, each of the last 2 wins, I mean, he earned these.
Yeah, no, I agree. A big favorite in the first, but even a big favorite here. A horse who shouldn't have been that big a favorite, certainly didn't run like it, but Manny is just so tough to beat. And he's against Ricardo Santana, who's an extremely strong man himself. So this is quite a stretch battle between these two and a tough beat. If you bet Power Women, these are those kind of beats that just sort of deflating, you know. You fight off the favorite, you have her beaten, and in the last 2 strides, the favorite gets by. We've all been there, and it's never not painful. Hopefully, occasionally you're there when you have the other horse, but just Craving's a terrible underlay at 3 to 5.
She was not going by. No. I mean, this credit Manny, and we were looking at it during the break. He's live in just about every single remaining race he's in.
Now, you made the over-under me 1.5, which I think is accurate. You look at their sort of chance of winning, and he rates to win around 1 1/3 races going on. So he could win 5 or 6 today for sure.
And you actually like him in this next race,
I
right?
do.
Open Soul Autism?
Which means he probably has less of a chance than his actual odds. But yes, I like him. I don't love Open Soul. I think he's dangerous in here.
That one for Decanter Machi Barn. We'll have more on this field coming up in just a little bit. Starts the late pick 5, race 4, 6.5 furlongs, $10,000 claiming race. As the Derby Trail, a couple of big races coming up this weekend. Most notably, as you take a look at the upcoming Derby preps out of the fairgrounds, with tomorrow's Louisiana Derby Grade 2 $1 million purse and the return of a horse with just 1 start, but it was very good, Emerging Market.
Yeah, whether or not Emerging Market, and I was reading I think it was the Blood Horse article about the race, and both, Chad was saying that, we'll keep our options open, but a win here certainly doesn't necessarily mean an entry into the Kentucky Derby. And I know they have 4 horses at 6 to 1, and maybe one of the worst big race lines I've ever seen. Emerging Market will likely be favored, if not vie for favoritism with the 3 Chip Honcho. But his debut was very, very impressive, and he and Chief Honcho are the 2 forward horses and the horses to beat.
Well, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th place finishers all returning, coming out of the Risen Star. For more on that trio, let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, I'm most interested in Golden Tempo here, as on that Risen Star day, it felt like you needed to be forwardly placed. I mean, I know Jose Ortiz wasn't going to reinvent the wheel with Golden Tempo, who has proven to be more of a closing type, but he was so far out of it. And considering this was the last race and the majority of the races were won in gate to wire fashion, I would have hoped he had been a little bit more forwardly placed, but he did unleash that patented run that we saw him in winning the LeCompte. So I'm not ready to give up on this horse, who they do apply blinkers to, Cherie DeVoe and her team, who they are having a great fairgrounds meet. All their horses seem to be running and running big. I'm not ready to give up on this horse, guys. I like his incremental improvement when it comes to speed figures. He's a really well-bred horse, so I think Not that he's necessarily going to get a speed set up, as it doesn't look as though there's necessarily one on paper, but hopefully those blinkers keep him more in contention and able to unleash a more powerful late run.
Well, my problem with that, Maggie, is that I don't believe this horse has any speed. And if Jose rides him more into the race, then I think it's going to mute his closing kick. And the problem with him is he's so much slower than both horses that'll be shorter prices than him. He's got to not only win a race which is designed against his running style, but in doing it, he's got to get 4 or 5 lengths faster at least to be competitive. And I don't see where that improvement's going to come from.
You know, I wonder, you know, with merging markets, you know, he runs such a fast race and maybe he is the real deal, but at least, you know, this horse has been building upon it. Not to say that he is a winner. I don't love him in this spot, but I just thought that he was way too far out of it, given the way the racetrack was playing. And maybe we'll see a racetrack that's conducive to early speed yet again on Louisiana Derby Day. But I thought there were reasons to take the upside approach with this horse. I know he's going to have to play the favorites games in here, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. But like I said, I think that maybe he can capitalize on things, and he's still kind of that work in progress.
Well, he's a work in progress because he's slow. That's the thing. I mean, I just haven't seen any evidence that because you say he's got incrementally faster. It's not like he's improved that much. Maggie and I will agree to disagree here.
We'll see. I mean, look.
I'm not saying
this could be his fourth career start. You can take a jump forward.
The problem is he hasn't really taken that much of a jump forward. I'm not as convinced the Risen Star was as speedy as Maggie is. I could be wrong. You know, I obviously have a great respect for her opinion. I just feel like he's not as good as Chief. I want to say Chief
Wallaby.
Honcho. The horse for Chip Honcho. Chip Honcho. Chief Honcho. I wanted to say the old Bill Mott horse. An emerging market is the real deal. It doesn't mean he's going to come back and necessarily run as well as he did in his maiden race, but Chad Brown has been high on. He was high on this horse in Saratoga, and he missed his debut. He got sick, and well over a month before this race, I know Chad Brown pretty well. I talk to him pretty frequently, and most of those conversations are not about horses. He was just out of the blue, started raving to me about this horse 4 to 6 weeks before the race. He said, I'm going to get a maiden race on Sam Davis Day. I'm going to win. And this is like a future star.
Does it concern you Power Shift didn't run well in his Derby prep?
Does it concern me? A little bit. I mean, you always have to think that way, right? The horse he beat came back and ran a stinker in the Tampa Bay Derby. He didn't really break. He didn't really get bet. I mean, I remember both of us being surprised, and you were even saying the figures you look at, he should have been favored there. He wasn't. He didn't run well. So it's a bit of a concern, but I'm not going to get too overly concerned about it because I think maybe they rushed him back a little bit in that race. This horse has 2 more weeks. And so it is a bit of a cause for pause. And I'm not betting emerging market. If he was 6-1, I'd bet a lot of money on him, but he's going to be closer to 6-5 than 6-1. I'm rooting for him, but I think he'll run well. But I think Chip Honcho could wire this field.
Yeah, he's a danger with his speed. Meanwhile, Doug O'Neill, he will send out Pavlovian, coming off winning the Sunland Derby. And you talk about a horse who, back to Maggie's point, maybe we'll see that improvement Golden Temple. This horse, and granted, it was at Sunland Park, but in career start number 9, took a big move forward.
Right, he's going to have to take another step forward, but he did run faster than the horse Golden Tempo that we were talking about. And keep an eye on him because the horse that he beats is coming to the Wood Memorial. So, you know, if this horse could take another step forward, and, you know, Maggie brought up another point. They're going the extra, going a 16th mile more than they went in the Risen Star. Now, whether or not that's going to help closers, I don't know about that. You know, I don't know. I don't think, and I know Maggie doesn't say this either, necessarily more distance, but are there some horses that might improve with distance and others that may get less good with distance? It's more a question of that. It's not, a closer has a better chance going longer. That is nonsense, and we all know that.
The longest of the Derby preps.
Yeah.
Long run to that first turn. So we take a look at the Derby leaderboard. Paladin for the connections, or barn of emerging market. Trying to add some more depth to what we'll see. We'll have, you talked about this the other day too, even if emerging market runs a big race, Derby's not guaranteed.
Not even close to guaranteed. I would say he's just a big underdog to run in the Kentucky Derby even with a win.
Looking forward to see what happens on Saturday with that Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. Also the Jeff Ruby Stakes on synthetic. So busy day on the Derby Trail. Is there a new face that has yet to emerge? Potentially. We saw one just the other day.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Cherie considers Englishman to be a Triple Crown type horse, because I know I was reading an article before the race I'm guessing by Marcus Hurst, it could have been Nicole Russo, about this horse. Cherie said if things go well in this allowance race, which they did, he got a 95 buyer at 1-9 and 1 for fun. She's going to point the Pat Day Mile. I would wonder if from there she'd be more inclined to go to the Woody Stevens. I could text her and ask. Some may depend. I mean, Cherie has, talking about Golden Tempo, this is not nearly the best 3-year-old in her barn. Reagan's Honor, who won his non-winners of one against older horses. They were weaker
Pointing
horses.
to different,
but that horse pointing to the Bluegrass. That horse ran a 96 buyer. I mean, that horse is going to be potentially a real player in that Bluegrass, which is going to come up a tough race. Paladin, further ado, in there as well. And, when he won, he wired a field at Fairgrounds. There were 6 dirt races that day. He is the only horse that won in the front end. In no way was he helped by the racetrack. And Reagan's Honor could be a very, very promising horse. Cherie, who is really loaded right now. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like Golden Tempo, too, and I think he's a cool horse. But he's probably the 3rd best of the 3 horses we're talking about.
Reagan's Honor, very exciting prospect. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. More ahead on the other side of this break. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to post race 3 at Oaklawn. 6 furlong sprint. Ratings handicap coming up with an even money favorite. She's not a joke. Christian Torres will be aboard.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. The horses are on the track for race 3, and we're going to jump right into a post-raid. Megan, this is one of those, ratings handicaps that we're just kind of learning about, and here is the one, Street Painter, who you have interest in.
I do. I want to use this filly at a big price that I think is a complete overlay going through her form lines, now dropping in class.
The 2 Austrian Navy with Walter Dela Cruz.
Has to get faster. Last couple of efforts don't inspire.
Here's your favorite taking all the money. She's Not a Joke.
Off of one race that she'll have to replicate against what I believe is lesser competition.
You got the 4, So Jackson. This is who I like, and I'll explain more in a minute, but some speed.
Has some speed and some races, especially that back form that was at Remington Park.
The 5, Lover Girl. She's always pretty consistent.
Last one at Canterbury Park back in 2024.
The 6, Best Cupcake. Seems like she does her best running on the turf.
And against Ohio breds, or excuse me, her dam was an Ohio bred stakes winner. This Indiana bred, as you mentioned, does do better on the grass.
I think the 7, Lady Pippa, could be the main speed here.
Could be. The Timeform US Pace Projector also agrees.
And then on the far outside at a big price, the 8, End of Innocence.
Cuts back in distance off of the bench, which I do like for her, but she is going to have to dig into some of her better form. Not impossible, though.
But you're making a case. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the favorite first. The 3, She's Not a Joke. Just coming off a big effort. She runs consistent kind of buyer figures. Do you think, though, last time was maybe the time? Does it get that feeling?
Absolutely. Last time, she was 3-1 that day. I thought she had every opportunity. Now you get her at even money, which I think is way too short a price on this horse. That is not your bet. Like I mentioned earlier in the post parade, you're kind of betting her off of that one race. And if you go 3 back still, that puts her right on edge with everybody else in this spot. Last time out, she was further off of the pace, you can say, than what she typically is in general. She sat along the inside, she angled out, and then the winner wired the field that day, and she rallied on pretty well. But to me, maybe her problem was that she was just shuffled a little bit further back than usual because she was beaten by more forward horses, but I still think she had every opportunity to run those other horses down.
Well, maybe a bit of a, too short a price, but the flip side of that, I think the horse you like, the 1, Street Painter, is way too big a price.
I'm using this horse on top. I'm going to take a shot with her. Her 2-back effort, I understand she might be kind of one of those other one-horse races, but 2-back when she got the job done at 19-1, that might have been the wedding with her, but this is a pretty good spot off of a effort against Hall and Ice, significant class release, and 2-back, she was under a hold. She was taken mid-pack, mid-range. She does have some speed now, drawing that inside position, but she was up the inside. I disagree with the short comment. I didn't find any traffic woes for her that day. To me, she had a perfect trip. She always had room from that inside where she got to save ground that day, and then wore down Queen Mallard, an Arkansas bred who came back to run pretty well and was hanging on the wrong lead that day in front of her, so she was able to take advantage of that. And she's a robust, well-made mare at 6 years old that I thought had been carrying herself really well the last couple of times I saw her, and even on track today. 11-1 to me, Richie, is such a big price on a horse that I think does have the capability of winning this race.
Well, I think you make a compelling argument there. I'm going to make my argument for the 4, So Jackson. This is a horse, if you look when David Cabrera rides this horse, she runs her best races. She's 5 for 16 lifetime, so she has a winning habit. And some horses and riders just hit it off. David's ridden her 5 times altogether. 4 times on the dirt with 3 wins. The only bad effort was on the turf. And this horse has never run well at Will Rogers Downs. Now, she's never run here at Oaklawn before, but her races at Remington Park going 2 and 3 and 4 back, I think put her squarely in the frame. I expect her to be forward. I think Lady Pippa makes the lead. I think So Jackson has a look at 9-1.
Completely agree with you on that. You have to be weary of the fact that this horse has been amongst Oklahoma breds, but we've seen horses come out of Remington Park to run their better races here at Oaklawn. Scott Quarterman doesn't typically send a lot of horses here, kind of one of those lower level outfits, but she was outrun. You can definitely give this horse some excuses for her last 2 at a price.
And then the 5-horse Lover Girl, also from Matt Williams, who has the favorite She's Not a Joke. They're loading up. We're going to have race 3 momentarily. Matt Dinnerman with the call.
Lady Pippa coming up. 2-back, So Jackson, and End of Innocence. So Jackson coming up. End of Innocence to the outside post. We're ready to go. And we're off. From post 7, Lady Pippa wins the break and is taking advantage, strides in front. Here's Street Painter, the Arkansas bred with Austrian Navy there together. Then End of Innocence, So Jack Sand running 4 lengths off the lead is the Will Rogers shipper. Then comes Best Cupcake, She's Not a Joke is second to last, and Lover Girl whips them in as they hit the half-mile pole. Lady Pippa, the pacemaker here, a length and 3/4 ahead. On the outside, that's Street Painter, Austrian Navy side by side going into the turn. Gap of 4. End of Innocence sent along as they're strung out now. 5 clear of So Jack Sand, who's lost position. Then comes She's Not a Joke, needs to get going. Still towards the back of the field. Lover Girl, the trailer, as they round the far turn. Lady Pippa still on the lead, just a neck now. Austrian Navy a lot closer at 13-1. These two come off the turn together. Austrian Navy soaring to the lead without being asked, and now kicks on here. Street Painter tipping outside for a rally. Far outside, So Jack Sand's trying to kick on here down the center. Austrian Navy 13-1 leads the charge, approaching the 16th, has opened up 3, pounces away from the competition. In the second spot is She's Not a Joke, coming on from the back of the pack with Street Painter, but it's Austrian Navy to pull off the surprise. Photo for second went to Street Painter over She's Not a Joke, and then So Jack Sand, who was 4th.
And in race 3, it's the 2 Austrian Navy under an aggressive ride by Walter Dela Cruz, which we've come to expect at 13-1. This 8-year-old daughter of midshipman, her 17th career win. And if you liked the 2 Austrian Navy and listened to Megan with the 1 Street Painter, that's quite an exacta there.
Yeah, I kind of picked maybe the other end of the longer priced kind of wise guy horses, but Austrian Navy really redeemed off of those last 2 pretty dismal performances for the Kim Fuel barn. Congratulations. This barn has kind of been slow to roll this meet, so it's always really nice to get a win, especially here with a $47,000 purse with a horse that was in for 20 last time out. So well done. And Meg, I thought as far as this particular race, it's kind of one of the lower level ratings handicaps that we've seen.
Well, still a work in progress, but you had 13-1, I believe over 14-1 here in race 3 as we send it back to the guys on the desk in New York.
Mig, thank you. And this one on your screen right now, the 9-5 favorite, and that's the man who will ride, Raylu Gutierrez, on Best Impression, missed by a nose against the speedster Maggie T when they met back on February 5th. We'll have to deal with that speedster again today.
Was also outside against the Gold Rail last time out. I think, you know, if you feel as though this horse can carry over the good form into the new barn, you make that excuse legit last time. She's a major player in a very competitive race. But looking at multi-race bets, I think it's possible that My First Love is favored. And I was saying when we were off camera, I wonder when the last time Heeman Harkey rode a favorite in a race here in New York. And I like Heeman. I think he does the best he can with the opportunities he gets, but I don't think he rides too many favorites.
Yeah, that one, the 6, 5-2 right now for the Cantermachi barn, second off the claim. Post parade coming up, 4 minutes away from race that kicks off the late pick 5 on this Friday card here in New York. An Open Soul Autism. This guy's won every race on the card so far, Manny Franco.
Yeah, I took a shot with him. Wet track last time, I think, or her may have prevented her doing her best running. She was against the track 2 races back. So first time on a dry track for the Cantermachi barn.
Maggie T, she is the lone speed, although the one next door to her pressed her when they met back in early February.
Well, she is, but I thought she got all the best of it when she held up Best Impression and Miss Lau 2 back.
Yeah, here is Miss Lau. Is she going to try and press early again?
Well, she's been in good form for Norman Folletto. Had a nice win here yesterday, so I don't see why she can't win here.
My First Love, as you mentioned, Heeman Harkey rides for Cantermachi, 7-year-old mare.
And dropping back to the right level at the bottom here, second off the claim. Thought she made a lot of sense, finally getting to a dry track.
I like the way she looks warming up. And then Best Impression, 2-1 favorite outside with Raylu Gutierrez.
I wouldn't take her at 2-1, but she's another contender. I mean, I think this is a wide open race. I mean, you look at the board and it reflects that, right? Yeah.
5-2, 4-1 separates everyone. Pick 5 starts here, and you can play it right there with NYRA Bets. Get that offer, that $200 deposit match new customer bonus when you punch in that code and sign up, match 200. Right there. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime at NYRABets.com. So, Best Impression. Tried to time that move to nail Maggie T back on February 5th. Just missed, probably an inch past the wire. She was in front.
And I bet Maggie T that day and was very lucky to win. Maggie T rode the gold rail, and not the best race. She was way against the track, but she was too wide the whole way around. It came outside of her, and it was tough to pass outside. So Maggie T had all the best for this day, and I think overall, best impression, ran the better race despite losing by a nose. She's been in good form. Her last race was sort of a rare bad race, though she didn't run that well going a mile 4 back. We'll just see if she can get back to that best form for her new connections. Then she's a major player in here.
Here's where best impression starts to kick into gear. It looked like she was going to run down Maggie T. Comes up just short. Can Ray Lou time it to perfection today? Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll start with best impression, number 7 on the outside, as I do think she obviously comes out of a tougher race. We saw She's Cool come back and win with a 64 buyer, and then Jackie the Joker actually finished last that day. She would come back and win, albeit with a bias-aided victory over the track. And as you guys pointed out, she was against the track best impression last time out too, but I did not love the way that she finished up. She didn't switch leads through the stretch, and she just did not look to be, moving as efficiently without switching leads. And, here in the warm-up, she's been kept very, very quiet, and does not look as good in her coat. She doesn't look great over top line, and as the favorite, I'd be willing to take a shot against her. I get her merits on paper, but just not making the best impression on me physically. As we'll move on to Miss Lau, who, as Andy said, has been in good form for Norman Follett, and it's been shown in the way that she looks physically. Never won earlier on in her career to carry that much weight in conditioning, and she's maintained it at a nice level throughout the entire winter, and she's just been knocking on the door here at this level for a while. And why couldn't she break through? I'm going to side with the veteran, number 6, My First Love, the 7-year-old mare who has made that $335,000, as we like to say, the hard way. And I thought she ran well enough last time out. And it's the first time in a long time since she's been on a fast racetrack, as Jackson's Dixie was able to wire the field, and kind of same thing with Jackie the Joker 2 starts back. She does need things to come back to her a little bit, I think, My First Love. But yet again, Greg, she looks fantastic. And, from the paddock to the track, she consistently looks the best in this field.
Look at that board. 2 of them at 2-1. The 5 at 3-1, 7-2 on Maggie T, and then 4-1 is your biggest number on Open Soul Autism.
Well, Maggie's a nose away from getting a couple of 4-1 shots home or so in this card, so she's been sharp today. Like I said, I'm taking Open Soul Autism. I thought I might get a slightly better price here, as she is, though, the longest shot on the board right now, and I boxed her with the 6, My First Love. But my only real opinion here is that I don't like Maggie T. I know she's the speed. I just don't really like her. I prefer the others that ran behind her when they met. Other than that, I think it's wide open.
Manny Franco kicked off the card on a huge favorite.
I'll stop him.
Growth Equity. There he is. He won race 2 on Indy Rags, had to battle and outduel Kendrick Carmouche on Come to Papa for the win, and then he just got up outdueling Power of Women on Cravings to take the first 3.
So you made the over-under 1.5. That's a good over-under in the rest of races. So you've got him at 4.5 wins today because he's already got 3. I'm gonna go over. I picked 2 of them.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over. I'm going to take an optimistic approach on Manny, who's just having a fabulous winter, another fabulous winter. I think 2 straight years at least he's been the leading rider in New York. At least 2.
Oh, more than that,
Maybe
yeah.
2. I mean, in succession. Probably more.
You saw just one of his best assets, his finishing power in these last 2 races.
Incredibly strong rider down the stretch. And listen, he kind of, I don't know, the outrode Ricardo. I don't think that's fair to say. Ricardo's a very strong rider as well.
Here we go with the start of the late pick 5. Manny Franco looking to take the first 4 on the 3 Open Soul Autism. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Goes in. All set. And they're off. Maggie T with the speed. It's Maggie T right to the front, is up by a quick head. There to the outside is Miss Lau, stalking second. Just behind them comes Open Soul Autism in third. Center of the racetrack moving forward is Best Impression. Is now a challenging fourth. Is right up alongside. As they're tightly packed now with the trailer, My First Love. Tightly bunched here, and Maggie T just trying to slow things down a little bit, 23.08 for that opening quarter mile. Miss Lau to the outside, applies the pressure. There was nowhere to go for My First Love. Was running on heels. Right in behind these leaders, still tightly packed. And here's the move from Best Impression. Has been in the clear the entire journey. And Best Impression, Raylu Gutierrez, they're on the move. Maggie T starts to back out of it. The leader is Miss Lau, but for how long? Best Impression imposing to the outside. And here's Best Impression with a quarter mile left to go. Now cut loose here by Raylu Gutierrez and quickly opens up by a length. Miss Lau battles on down towards the inside. Open Soul Autism, center of the racetrack, just had to drift and steady in behind Miss Lau, but getting away. Best Impression, a 16th left to go. No doubt who's best. It's Best Impression dominates. Tight here for second, Open Soul Autism and Miss Lau in 1 minute 18.40 seconds.
Best Impression, convincing victory. Gregory Charlery, Raylu Gutierrez for the win, 5-2.
And back to her better races and proved to be tons the best in this race, getting it done. Second straight, not particularly impressive showing by Delilah Rivera, as she could not control the number 5 down the stretch. The good news is, I think the 3 Open Soul Autism, who would have been closer but was never winning this race, I think she got up for second, so we won't have to suffer through an inquiry, because I think if she had been third, that they would have taken down the 5 and clearly interfere with her throughout the stretch.
Second choice, 5-2, but no doubt about it. Winner here, Best Impression with a drop down in class. And Raylu Gutierrez will go get his picture taken here to kick off the late pick 5.
The under's looking better. I hate to say it for Manny. I know I jinx him.
Well, this was going to be one of his. He's got one of his toughest.
I know.
Mounts probably to win with, right?
I know.
Of what's left.
I stopped him. 7-3-5, 6.
All right. Well, these prices for you when we come back. We'll get into the late pick 4, and we'll talk about a new announcement strengthening international ties in our sport, with NYRA entering a new partnership. Talk all about it when we come back on America's Day at the Races here on our Fox Sports coverage. Don't go away.
Anybody else want $650,000 a minute? $1,650,000. Thank you.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
Drain the clock, Jackie's Warrior, drain the clock by a head.
1,000,001, hit it 1,000,001, 1,100,000, hit it 75,700. Mike, 700,000. 570,000. Thank you.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
This link brings together two of the oldest sporting venues in the world. I'm delighted to announce this exciting new partnership between Chester Racecourse, which is the oldest operational racecourse in the world, and NYRA, New York Racing Association, which operates some of the oldest sporting venues in the United States. So the collaboration is looking at the Boodles May Festival. The Ladbrokes Ormond is a link through to the Belmont Gold Cup, and the Huxley Stakes will take you through to the Resorts World Casino, Manhattan, the $1 Million Race.
Kind of as racing becomes a more global sport, NYRA is always looking for opportunities to expand our footprint in international markets and show off the quality racing that NYRA is known for. The Belmont Festival in itself is known for high quality racing, and having international participation, international stars come over to partake in that is certainly something that gives the fans something additional to look forward to.
Terrific that we have this announcement strengthening these international ties in the game. And here to talk about this partnership with Chester, Keith Dolashell, Senior Director of Racing Operations here at NYRA. Good to have you on. And tell us how this whole collaboration came about.
Well, thanks for having me. And really, it occurred in the fall. Our friends at the International Racing Bureau, who do marketing and recruiting on our behalf in Europe, approached us about seeing if we had any interest in linking up with Chester Racecourse, facilitated an introduction at Breeders' Cup with myself, Andrew Offerman, our Senior VP of Racing and Operations, with Patty Chesters from Chester, and it became pretty clear pretty quickly that this was something that could be a win-win for both sides, linking up historic races at historic venues.
So winner of this Group 3 Ladbrokes Ormond Stakes, guaranteed entry to the Grade 2 Belmont Gold Cup, but also sort of with this path now from this race at Chester, you have sort of a direct path to the Melbourne Cup.
Right. We have a number of international partnerships, Victoria Racing Club, Melbourne Cup being one of them. We also have another automatic qualifier from Berlin Hopgarten Racecourse in Germany. So a couple of different pathways to get to the Belmont Gold Cup, and then from the Belmont Gold Cup to Melbourne. So yeah, it's exciting to link up with race courses around the world, and pleased to have Chester aboard with some of our other international partners.
Greg and I are thinking of actually trying to set up to steal the Melbourne Cup this year. I don't know if I should reveal that in the show, but I love that they bring that. I think it's really been fun, and it's fun having Matt come over to call the race as well.
Yeah, no, that's been a very cool thing to see the Melbourne Cup, in person and in Saratoga Springs was pretty neat. And yeah, we're really looking forward to collaborating with Chester, and very pleased to partner up with this initiative. I think hopefully we'll get 2 winners from their Boodles May Festival to the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival in June.
It takes place in early May. Let's bring in Patrick Chesters now, Chester Racing Director. And tell us a little bit about this meet for us stateside here who don't know a whole lot about it.
Hi, sorry, I'm struggling to hear you guys.
Do you have us now? Trying to sort this out. Patrick, do you have us? All right, some audio issues. We'll see if we can get him back shortly, but
we're very intimately aware of what his ear looks like, so that's kind of a good
3-day meeting in May 6th through 8th this year. And look, some big names, Keith, have come out of here. Most recently, Lambourne, Epsom Derby winner, Mini Hawk, who became a 3-time Group 1 winner. So you get some very big-time runners who exit this meet.
And I think when you look at both the horses that have won races, in the Boodles Festival, as well as the trainers, I mean, I think adds a lot of international intrigue. Top connections both in Europe and in the States have won races like the Gold Cup and the Manhattan. I mean, you can just go back not too many years, and we've hosted, Gold Cup winners. Charlie Appleby's won, Marcel Weiss, who won the ARC several years ago, William Haggis, and Joseph O'Brien. Yeah. So that just right there, and not to mention top connections stateside. I mean, Graham Motion has won the race, Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher. I mean, we're talking about kind of the best of the best, both from North America and Europe, that have targeted this race. And I mean, it's a great spectator race. I know we speak about it with with Tony and the rest of the team. I mean, it's in Saratoga, going around twice, 2 laps at a distance that you don't see run here in North America is pretty cool.
And last year's winner did go over the Melbourne Cup, even though it was off the turf. Bill Mott took a shot and went over there.
Yeah, and Bill Mott's won the race,
that was fun.
won the race last year.
Now you talk about some of the, I mean, these are world-class barns you've talked about too. Coming over, getting them to bring these top turf performers over to the, it's good. I mean, it trickles down to everything, but it's good for the bettors as well.
And you know, the Saratoga Derby, which is a win and you're into the Cox Plate. Well, you know, people can laugh about that, but State of Play, who won the Saratoga Derby for Joseph O'Brien, did win the Cox Plate that year. So it's actually has been proven to be doable. Right,
and when you look at winners even of the Huxley coming over to run in the Manhattan, I mean, what a Group 2-level horse is, what it takes to win a race like that. High-class racing in Europe, a lot of those horses are extremely competitive.
Could be favored.
Could be favored in a Group 1 here. And, you know, once again, the human equine connections. And, you know, I think what a middle-distance horse is in Europe is not necessarily what we would consider a middle-distance horse. I mean, their middle-distance horses are horses that would go on to run in a race like the Gold Cup. Our middle-distance horses would be more Manhattan-level type horses. But likewise, I mean, and you know, Charlie Appleby won the race several years ago, but I mean, Chad Brown's had a pretty good stranglehold on the Manhattan, but Todd Pletcher won it, Miguel Clement won it, Christophe Clement previously. So yeah, we're very excited. Hopefully, you know, Chester is supported the way that they historically are supported with these top connections, and likewise, you know, the winners will head to Saratoga.
Well, that's been terrific. It's generated a lot of excitement just having these top international runners come to our races here in the States. Very excited about this. Thanks for coming on to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks guys for having me, and we look forward to this partnership. And once again, you know, I know Patty wasn't able to join us, but thank you to Patty's team for helping put this together. Very exciting.
Yeah, apologies to Patrick Chesters, Chester Racing Director, but hopefully down the line at some point we'll get a chance to talk to him and learn a little bit more about this boutique meet. It's obviously historic, and maybe we'll have a little coverage of that coming up too down in our shows.
I want to go. I feel as though you and I should go over there.
Well, you know, I'm getting more and more involved in UK racing. I'll probably be stationed there full time at some point in the near future, so I'd love to go as well. Best impression, impressive to start off the late pick 5 with a victory. Raylu Gutierrez just runs away from this field here.
Yeah, I see. I think Raylu's had a good winter here. You know, he's done very well with the opportunities that he's had. It's not easy to break in. I think it's been nice to have him, you know, sort of staying here all winter. He's done so much moving back and forth in different tracks. Hard to get a sort of foothold doing that. Nice to see him winning. You got anybody in the 5th, Keith? You like anyone? You want to give us a pick? Chicken.
5th career win for this 5-year-old mare by Union Rags, $7.92 for the victory. Open Soul Autism, Manny Franco's run to sweep this card comes to an end as he winds up 2nd here, and Miss Lau completes that trifecta. Late pick 4, $12,000 maiden claiming 1 mile, and Manny Franco on a P slingshot, deserving to be the 9-5 favorite?
Probably. I like Cat Stormy to beat her, but seems like the logical horse.
All right, we'll have more on this one when we come back from a timeout. Also, 6 minutes to post out at Oaklawn for their 4th on the card. We'll get you out there for a post parade when we come back. Going to stretch out to 1 mile and a 16th in Hot Springs when we return.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Love that shot. Love when you see the babies in the paddocks and one of the most historic, beautiful farms in Kentucky, Claiborne Farm. And we've got maiden 15,000 claimers going 1 mile and a 16th here, Megan, and I think a really tough race to handicap.
So
we'll
tough.
start out with the post braid here with the 1, Fitzgerald.
Made us such a nice impression there on track, as he has continued to do at Oaklawn, but does need to do some real running. Gets the blinkers on.
The 2, Ragtree, this will be his 15th attempt.
Has done nothing to really indicate he's taken a step forward in his last couple tries.
And the 4, South Fork, as the 3 was scratched.
Horse should have some speed, stretching out in distance.
The 5, Baritone Crier, 1 start sprinting, now stretching out.
Philip Disson, I believe, has not run a horse here since 2024. It takes the drop down in class.
Golden City Street, another one with a lot of tries, gets Joey Belmere.
Now an Arkansas bred, even though does get the drop in class, is against open foes.
And the 7, your co-favorite, Bago Time, Walter De La Cruz, looking to go back-to-back.
This horse looks fantastic. Honestly, one of these horses that doesn't typically look like a lower-level claimer.
And then the 9 horse, Refined Design, 1 good attempt in mud. I'll discount the 2 synthetic races, but I thought a horse that was a little interesting.
Very interesting getting to a fast track for the first time on dirt.
And that is your field for race 4. Let's take a look at the 7, Bago Time. Tom Vance dropping down to the lowest level yet. And Walter De La Cruz, a rider that just won the last, is usually aggressive. This horse doesn't have much natural speed.
Doesn't have any from the 8 prior tries. I did go with this horse, cognizant of the fact that he is probably against the race flow, but there should be some speed in this spot. As I mentioned earlier, taking the drop in class, and he just has consistent Beyer speed figures. And when you get into these lower level races, you want to see even a little bit of consistency, and this horse does have that. Of Colt by Vino Rosso out of a He's Had Enough mare that I thought the last couple of times I've been able to actually see him up close in some of his prior races. The ground is no issue, and honestly, a couple of these others, I thought maybe that could be their Achilles heel with this 1 mile and a 16th route of ground. So he's the reliable sort, as the tote board suggests up there. Now clicking over to 5-2 or 2-1.
Yeah, you got 3 horses taking the majority of the money here, right? Obviously, the 1 horse Fitzgerald, the 7 Bago Time, and now the 9 Refined Design. Bet down to 3-1, down to the morning line, was actually 5-1 a little while ago. I just think it's one of those cases, Megan, where his form's a little dirtied up. Both synthetic races left a lot to be desired. Got to dirt, albeit in the mud, ran extremely well, beaten a half length. That race, I think, would be good enough to win here. And then a sloppy track here at Oaklawn Park just did not run at all. It was just a terrible effort. But if you even look at this horse's work tab on a fast dirt track, there's infinitely better than any of the works on synthetic. So I'm just kind of banking on this horse is going to be happier with a fast dirt track, and you're going to see the best of Refined Design. It was a little easier to take that at 5-1 than hoping for it at 3-1.
And you gotta kind of wonder, you know, this horse was an $800,000 yearling who ran a couple of times, was dropped in for 12.5, and then claimed now among some of these lower level sorts. So he's gorgeous. Hence the reason they likely paid that $800,000 for him as a young horse, and just hasn't really been able to put it all together on the racetrack. And now I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think this horse wants the distance. He's a twirling candy colt out of a Curlin mare, and that 2-back effort is sitting off of a pretty fast pace, particularly for the level, not being able to get it done just in time. They're being edged out late, and he makes all of the sense in the world getting to the fast track. You have to me, include this horse, whether you're betting those exactas or just your win bets, or if you're betting in a multi-race sequence.
Yeah, I just think this is where I went, but interesting, right? $800,000 for a horse that is now favored or one of the choices for $15,000 maiden claiming. Yeah, I think when people buy horses at sales, a lot of times they're buying the dream of what that horse, the potential of what that horse could be, obviously not the reality of the ability that horse will have.
Well, bloodstock agents will tell you all of the time, it's a complete and utter, I admire their work, because I could never do the job that they do of really tapping into something that you have no idea what's going to happen in the future, and also just the validity of this game, and hopefully, you know, keeping horses happy and healthy as we always aim to do. But this is a tough one to me. I did go with one of your top selections, so the number 6. 7, Bag of Time, who is, one of the likely winners of this race.
Yep, the 1 now ticked down to favoritism at 9-5. The 7 is 2-1. And the 9, Refined Design, at 3-1. They're loading up. Matt Dinneman will have the call of race 4.
We're ready to go. And we're off. An eventful start. Then after the start, Ragtree had to take up a little bit, went in tight, drops to the rear. Fitzgerald up close with South Fork. Baritone Crier not far away. These 3 across the track as they go into the first turn. Bag O' Time setting up shop right behind the speed is tucking over now, and Refined Design is farther out in the purple. Ragtree, Golden City Street at the back together. Around the first turn, onto the backstretch now. It's Fitzgerald showing the way narrowly from South Fork, who's the presser. Pretty hard here from the outside. Baritone Crier in third, now easing off the speedsters, 2 behind. Length and a half to Bag O' Time on a hold. Refined Design lost ground on the first turn, is level 4th now. Ragtree to the inside, and Golden City Street can only see backside. He's only 5 behind, though, as they're pretty compact, making their way towards the half-mile pole. Fitzgerald, South Fork, both runners getting breathers. They slow the pace down now, and Bag O' Time is allowed to stride in third. He's clearly making up ground now. He's right with those leaders, and Refined Design is 4 wide, and Golden City Street from last is making an early move as they quicken the pace into the turn. Ragtree alongside of him. Baritone Crier is given way. Around the far turn, South Fork calls it a day. Fitzgerald with Bag O' Time there together. Bag O' Time going to the lead clearly, putting away Fitzgerald, and Refined Design, who's into second. He's hard-ridden, though. Golden City Street into third. Fitzgerald giving way. Ragtree 4 behind, under a ride, getting outside, not picking up the pace. They're down the stretch here. Bag O' Time in front. Golden City Street on the outside, making up ground. He's a danger to Bag O' Time. Bag O' Time finding more on the inside. Golden City Street alongside. Bag O' Time 16th to go. Half length in front. Golden City Street can't get by him at the moment. Bag O' Time still there. Bag O' Time fending off Golden City Street to get the win. Third home was Refined Design, and then Ragtree, who is 4th.
Oaklawn Park, race 4 goes to the 7. Bag O' Time holding off an insistent number 6 Golden City Street through the entirety of the stretch. Good call, Megan. Bag O' Time gets it done under another good ride from Walter Dela Cruz. We'll be back on the other side of this break with a late pick 4 from Aqueduct.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner, Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
Adelphi Racing Club offers the unparalleled excitement of owning thoroughbred racehorses at a fraction of the cost. We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Our New York-based high-performing equine athletes, trainers, and jockeys compete and win at the highest level circuits. Contact us online to get a taste of the Adelphi difference, and let's win races together.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Friday coverage On America's Day at the Races, it's brought to you by the OBS Spring 2-Year-Olds in Training Sale, April 14th through 17th in Ocala. Race 5, approaching the 3-minute mark to post. Here is Saratoga Sunset 9-2. Relu Gutierrez looks to go back-to-back.
Yeah, and I thought you made a pretty good case for this horse when we were talking about the race a little bit earlier. A horse that's dropping that ran okay last time.
14-1
looks, I should say. Sorry.
Looking at Annie for Rachel Sells.
Would have to improve a lot off 2 distant losses.
Michelle Nevin with Houdini's Bride.
Taking a lot of money for one of my favorite trainers. She started out her career running race fast enough to win recent races, though, but she is second off a laugh.
Here's Cat Stormy, Jose Lezcano.
I like her. Was chasing against the track last time out. I think was compromised by the bias, and I prefer this one today.
Tough to endorse. 'Tis All Mine.
I'll agree with that.
Manny Franco looking for number 4 on AP Slingshot.
No reason this horse can't win the race. Is probably the logical horse to beat. Finished well ahead of the horse that I like in recent race.
And TriStar Fury, the only time on a fast track was the debut against Tougher.
I agree, though. The problem is ran a faster race in a wet track, but who knows? Kind of an unknown.
All right, Vargas Jr. will be aboard. 7:01 from that outside slot. As we go back to the one you like here, Cat Stormy for the Belmont Barn.
Yeah, I like a horse that, I mean, it wasn't really much of a layoff 2 months last time. Was chasing outside against the gold rail and compromised in there, and gets a really good rider change to Jose Lezcano. I don't have a strong opinion here. I just prefer this one a little bit to the 7.
Well, more on this filly. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, Andy, I agree, at least from the physical sense, too. And I am one of Bruce Levine's biggest fans. He was the second all-time winningest trainer here at the Big A, and with just about 3 months left here at Aqueduct, he will maintain that recognition here. We'll see if AP Slingshot can add one more to the tally, but when you look at him physically, the nod has to go to number 5, Cat Stormy, who is kind of second off that little bit of a freshening, looks incredibly fit here. And the job that Leanna Williford, Belmont's longtime assistant here in New York, has done with her horses is tremendous, because they don't look like horses who have spent the entire winter here in New York. It has been a long and taxing winter, and a lot of these horses kind of reflect that in their coat and their conditioning, and none of her horses appear that way. This horse is dappled head to toe, resplendent and bright in her weight and conditioning, and I think that of the 2 favorites, she's the one that I'd prefer. But I'm gonna make a little bit of a case for the horse to the inside of her, and that is Michelle Nevin's number 4. Houdini's Bride. Sorry, I inhaled my hair there. The wind's kicking up. But Houdini's Bride, she's only had 1 try going this mile on a fast track. Well, that was off the back of a near 11-month layoff, and I just didn't think she was necessarily fit. That's not Michelle's MO, to have them cranked up and ready to go first off the bench or at first asking. And it just seems as though she is too slow early on sprinting, at least as of late, at least as of her last race. So I get why they have consistently tried to go longer with her, and now she's going to get to do it second off of the bench on a fast racetrack. She looks great. She looks, compared to the second choice in here, number 5, Cat Stormy, she's the next best looking option. She looks fit, she looks strong, and I'm okay with her going this mile, because I just feel as though it's going to allow her to be more forwardly placed here. As we'll check in with number 8, TriStar Fury. Look, there's not much to recommend on paper here, but I do feel as though she is one that will really appreciate the at least extra furlong. Now, mind you, she kind of looks and runs like she wants to go at least 9 furlongs. She's just big and leggy and just has that rangy type of frame to her, and even her stride is kind of like a slow, plodding, type of stride. So I like the kind of a little bit of a cut in class here and just the added ground. Not in love with her, but I thought at a price, maybe she can make an impact here, Greg.
7:01 from that outside slot for TriStar Fury. 2 sprints, now gets a mile. Let's see if she can make an impact here. But 6-5 favoritism, AP Slingshot, who we agree, I think, is the one to beat. But 6-5, I would not be excited about betting her at that price.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is an absolute, But you do wonder sometimes, you know, as the races, the lower level races, and this is a $16,000 maiden claimer, you know, we don't need to pretend it's the Kentucky Derby. You wonder how reliable those horses are. You know what I mean? And I just wonder sometimes, and listen, sometimes you get in these races and there's a horse that's just a heavy favorite because they found a field they can't help but beat. But I don't believe that this horse has some sort of demonstrative edge over the 5, even the 4, who Maggie likes, second off a layoff for Michelle Nevin. And I thought you made some good points to me about the 2 as an interesting horse in here. So, no, I don't think that this is a race where it's like a 1.5 or 2 horse race. I think there's 4 legitimate contenders. I don't know why the 8's taking as much money as she is. Maybe she'll run better. I didn't get her, but I think any of the 2, 4, 5, and 7 can win here.
Maybe it's just a little of the unknown because the only time it was a fast track was a debut, which you can be forgiving.
I'm just surprised the horse is the shorter price than the 4, but I don't remember the morning line, that's all.
I agree. See what happens here in the start of this pick 4 sequence. There's Cat Stormy moving in. Jose Lezcano for the Belmont Barn. AP Slingshot, though, the 7. The favorite, where again Manny Franco looks for his 4th on the afternoon, teaming up with trainer Bruce Levine. There's Manny. Here's race 5 from Aqueduct, Chris Griffin, the call.
TriStar Fury goes in, all set. And they're off. Dwelt at the start looking at Annie, just stood in the gate, is last. The leader, Saratoga Sunset, right to the front. It's Saratoga Sunset up by a neck. Houdini's Bride with the pressure to the outside, well off the rail as they get set to come out of the chute, and they're followed in 3rd by TriStar Fury. Gap of 3.5, almost 4. Back to Cat Stormy, who's now moving through at the rail, is taking the lone 4th position. Just in behind them, Tis All Mine in the purple cap just got passed by AP Slingshot. Hopelessly last, tailing off at the back end of the field, looking at Annie. 23.81 for the opening quarter mile. Saratoga Sunset has the lead. Houdini's Bride is not going away, is still within a neck of the leader. TriStar Fury is alone in 3rd and starts to pick up these 2 leaders. 46 and 4 for a half-mile time. Cat Stormy is at the rail, still in 4th. Here comes AP Slingshot. Manny Franco, 3 on the day, looking for 4. AP Slingshot's on the move, 4 wide. All in, Saratoga Sunset with a nose in front. Houdini's Bride is not going away. 3 wide, TriStar Fury, and here comes AP Slingshot doing just that and right to the front. AP Slingshot trying to sprint away from the field. Cat Stormy has gotten off the rail, starts to move in on the far outside down the center of the racetrack, but AP Slingshot inside the final furlong is opening up. A 16th left to go. Manny Franco, give him 4. AP Slingshot, easily. Saratoga Sunset 2nd, then came a photo, TriStar Fury with Cat Stormy, a woman at 39.74 seconds.
AP Slingshot by a country mile here, number 4, as you heard. Manny Franco for Bruce Levine, and this one should have been a shorter price than the 6-5 she went off at.
I agree. My 5 was terrible. I mean, absolutely dreadful in here. And this horse won. Like, you're right, 6-5 was a big, big overlay. Your 2 Saratoga Sunset ran fine in the 2nd, but this was not even close. This horse won like this one should have been 2-5. 4 for Manny.
Wow.
Still alive for her 6-win day.
As easy a finish as you could ever ask for.
Agreed. For fun.
More work to come for Manny as well. He'll be on.
It's not
we
the
get
6.
the race off in the 6, but then too he'll be on
Philly Freedom, the
probably
second choice, probably. Yeah, and one of the favorites in the 2 counter move. It can't be more than 4 or 5
Probably
to 1
second
there.
choice,
Yeah.
5-2 morning line.
Yeah, well there you go.
No one was coming. AP Slingshot, much the best to finally break the maiden after 2 runner-ups and a 3rd and 7 starts. Career start number 8, totally different story here, dropping to the lowest level she'd been at yet.
Pretty quick pace to run into, but she was weak the best, especially with a 5, a complete no-show.
So AP Slingshot for Dark Horse Legends with Manny for Bruce Levine. Easy time to start off this pick 4. And See if Manny has more in the cards for him with already an incredible day, which he can build upon. 2 mounts remain.
Well, I mean, not only is he obviously riding very well, but you look at the prices, the horses. I mean, he rode a 1-9 in the first, a 3-5, a 6-5, and
Helps.
so his agent John Panagot is doing
But let's
a
not forget,
tremendous
too,
job.
He worked overtime to get 2 of those wins.
Oh, no
2
question.
stretch
Yeah,
duels.
listen,
Yeah,
Manny
he was-
delivers. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. But, I think the partnership with Manny and John Panagot has been a very fruitful one. Manny's career has really, really taken off to a new level. And I think some of it is because John Panagot has a good relationship with Chad Brown. That helped Manny start to ride more Chad horses. But believe me, and I don't think anybody doesn't believe it, if Manny wasn't delivering for Chad, I don't care how close friends he is with John, he wouldn't keep riding him. He rides him because he rides well.
We're back for round 2 of our coverage. That'll be on FS2. We take a slight little break here, but 5:30 to 6:30, we're back on FS2. So catch us then with that latter part of the card from Oaklawn Park. We will see you then. AB Slingshot dominant here in race number 5, 4-win day and counting for Manny Franco. We had the draw earlier for the Fantasy. Explorer. Looks like she could be awfully tough in that race. She draws the outside post, the Honeybee winner for Bob Baffert. And it'll be a rematch with Search Party for trainer Mark Cassidy. Martha Washington winner gets another try against Explorer in the final prep for the Oaks from Hot Springs next Friday.